This session is about wireless LAN protocols. So first we will see in general what are the different protocols, and then we will see how these protocols can be applied to some real wireless networks. You know what is a wireless network, right? Yeah, in that case nodes or stations communicate over some wireless media like radio waves, etc. And most of us are getting connected nowadays using some wireless devices like laptops and mobile phones, tablets, etc. As a typical example for this wireless LAN, you can think about the one in our campus. So a set of base stations which we call as the access points, right? Those will be strategically placed within the campus so that the network will be accessible from everywhere within the campus. And these base stations communicate with our devices like mobile phones, laptops, etc. using radio waves. And these access points are actually connected using some wired media, right? And these LANs have somewhat different properties than conventional wired LAN. So definitely they require some special MAC sublayer protocols. So can we use the CSMA here? That's the question. We can't use the CSMA as such in case of wireless LAN, mainly because the signals in case of wireless LAN are omnidirectional, right? You can see a wireless access point here, and the signal from this access point is reachable to all the four different nodes which are placed around this access point, right? So if a particular receiver is within the range of two different transmitters, suppose here also we have another access point, the signal from these two may be interferenced, okay? And so if a particular receiver is within the range of two different transmitters, resulting signal will be garbled and useless. We can think about this laptop. Suppose here also we have one more wireless access point, and this node receives a signal from both of them together. What happens? The data will be completely garbled. So we need some specifically designed protocol for this wireless LAN, right? So before moving into the protocols, let us think about the major problem faced by this wireless network, and those are hidden station problem and exposed station problem. So let us start from hidden station problem. So in a wireless network, every node will have a fixed radio range around it. For example, here this light gray color indicates a range of A. Like that, dark gray color indicates a range of C. And this intersecting part is actually the signal from both will be there. Okay. So for A, B is accessible whereas C is out of range. For B, both A and C are accessible. And for C, B is accessible, A is out of range. Okay. Now suppose A is transmitting some data to B. This is the current scenario. At that time, if C senses the channel, what happens? Actually, A is out of range. So the signal from A is not visible now for C, right? Only when that signal reaches in this area, C can sense it. So initially, when C senses the channel, it will not hear A. So it will falsely conclude that it can transmit some data to B. Okay. And if C does transmitting at B, these two data frame will interfere, and the data frame from A and data frame from C both will be garbled. Okay. So the problem of a station not being able to detect a potential competitor for the medium because the competitor is too far away is called hidden station problem. So here for C, A is hidden. For A, C is hidden. Okay. Let us take the reverse situation. So here for B, A and C are visible. For C, B and D are visible. Now suppose B is transmitting a frame to A. At that time, if C sends the channel, it will hear an ongoing transmission from B, right? And falsely conclude that it may not send to D, right? Actually, D is in this direction, and the receiver for this frame from B is actually in this direction. So it can actually send some data to D, right? There won't be any interference. But C will falsely conclude that it may not be able to send. Actually, such a bad reception will happen only between this B and C. Such an issue is called exposed station problem. Now let us see some protocols which address these issues in wireless network. First one is multiple access with collision avoidance, MACA. Let us see this example for this protocol. Actually this node A want to send some data to node B. So first it will send a short frame, control frame called RTS, request to send, to B. It's just like a reservation or just like booking an appointment. Okay, and this RTS frame contains the length of the data frame that will eventually follow. So at just A is asking permission to B that I want to send some data of that much length. Okay, upon receiving this RTS, B will reply with another control frame that is clear to send, CTS frame, back to A. Okay, and after receiving this CTS, now A can transmit its frame. Okay, so let us check whether our issues like hidden node problem and exposed node problems are actually solved using these two frames. Let us take the case of C. A is within range of C but node B, right? So it can hear this RTS from A, but it does not hear a CTS back. So when it hear an RTS from A, it will wait because it understood that A is requesting for some other node to get permission. So if that node permits, I can't send to A, right? So C will wait for a CTS. Since it does not receive any CTS, it is free to transmit while the data frame from A to B is on transmission. Okay, so this exposed node problem is actually solved here. Actually there is no problem if C is sent to A because A is actually sending data to B only, right? Exposed node problem is actually solved. Now what about D? D is in range of B, right? But not in range of A. So it does not hear this RTS from A, but it does hear the CTS from B, right? So what D will understand? Yeah, B gave permission to someone else. Okay, and actually the CTS also carries the length of data frame. Actually that length information will be copied from RTS to CTS. So upon receiving or upon seeing this CTS from B, D will understand that, oh yeah, that much time I have to wait. B will be busy that much time. So the hidden node problem also gets solved here, right? Yeah, otherwise if there is no such CTS, what happens? D also sends the channel as free and will transmit to B, right? So data frame from A and D might have been get collided. So both hidden node and exposed node problems are solved here. Now and what about E? E is within range of both A and B, right? So it will first seize this RTS and wait for the CTS. Upon seeing the CTS, it will defer its transmission attempt up to that length of the data frame. It's supposed to be there between A and B, right? So that also solve the problem. So even if these much precautions are taken, still there can be collision. Just for example, suppose both C and B try to send a RTS frame to A. Both want to send data, so both of them will send an RTS frame. So definitely those two frames will get garbled, and this receiver, that's A, will not reply with a CTS. So both of them will wait for an amount of time to get the CTS. Since it does not receive any CTS, it will again try after some time. So for this, it will use this exponential backup algorithm for randomization to reduce the collision again during the retransmission attempts. So later this protocol was again modified to add some reliability. Acknowledgement was introduced for every successful frame. Some acknowledgement was sent back, and also carrier sensing was added later. And in the next session we will see how these wireless protocols can be applied to a real wireless network. Thank you.